Happy anniversary, honey. Now listen, before you do whatever crazy stunt you've got planned, I want you to open mine first.
Zena.
I found it at an outlet store. Look, I know it's a knockoff, but I think it's gonna look great on you.
I hadn't really planned on giving you your anniversary gift until tonight. You know, anniversary's good all day.
What are you talking about? You can never wait all day. You can't even wait till it's light out. Come on.
I know. I know, that's me. It's true.
You forgot. You actually forgot our anniversary.
I'll fix it. I'll go out right now and I'll get you something. I'll make it right.
Well, for episode 50, that is a very appropriate intro, Mark, because I got you nothing.
Oh, that's okay. I just got you that intro. That was it. Just a lot of work that went into that, Ben. I spent a lot of time editing that and, just making sure the sound was good. But if you didn't get me anything, that's okay.
There's still time. Look, I will go and I'll find you
that's okay,
a
man.
juicy
That's
gift
right.
somewhere. I hate it when you're like this. Hey, everybody. Oh, are we live? Yeah, this is Tabletop Tune Up, you guys. And
welcome.
Welcome. I'm your host, Ben Dyer, here with my co-host and
partner in crime, Mark Lehman.
It's been 50 episodes.
50 episodes. Yep, we did it.
I'm really happy with it. So today, friends, what we're going to do is we're going to actually do a kind of retrospective. We're going to do a review episode, and we're not necessarily going to go back and talk about all that stuff in detail, but I thought it would be neat to kind of hit the highlights. What are some of the episodes that we did that were our favorites? What were some of the topics we've covered? Where did we have a lot of fun or think there was something really interesting, maybe for you to go back and check out on your own some other time? So just at the top, Mark, 50 episodes in, how are you feeling about podcasting? Are you enjoying this outlet as a way to sort of talk about the craft and the art of GMing?
Well, I'm of kind of two minds. I enjoy chatting with you. You're one of my friends, all-time friends here. So we love just engaging and talking about games. So I love that aspect of it. As far as do I like podcasting? It's fun. There's a little bit to it as far as craft. And I don't know. It's not easy.
Yeah. I mean, there's some effort we're going to put into this.
We're kind of doing this podcast for ourselves. It's a fun way for us to kind of talk about role-playing games. Because let's face it, we don't have a massive audience. And I don't think we're expecting to get one. But it is fun. But we're having fun.
I think that's right. I think that the reward is in the thing itself. I do know that we have interesting download statistics and analytics and things like that. For those that are curious, there are actually folks,
or lack thereof.
Well, that's true. Listen, there are folks listening from the UK, from Germany, from Canada, mostly from the United States. So I think there's great stuff out there. People are interested. I don't know how long they listen or stay on with it, but
one thing that I thought was kind of fun is that we both wanted to learn how to do this. Yeah. So I feel like that was rewarding in and of itself to learn the craft and kind of what goes into it. And I would encourage others, if that's something that they're interested in, just jump in and do it. They're going to be some rough episodes, but it's rewarding and fun to learn the craft. And kind of on that note, Ben, I got a question for you.
Sure, yeah.
We're episode 50 in. What has been the biggest change that you've made since the first episode? Because the way we do our episodes now at 50, quite a bit different than episode 1, I would say. You're kind of the behind the, for people who don't know, Ben's kind of the guy who goes in and does the edits, if there's edits to be done.
Yeah, I'll say, I'm hoping it's not laziness. I suspect it's not, but I am a little more permissive with little verbal fumbles, and all of the sort of fillers that we use, because I
Oh,
think it also helps people understand when we're thinking about something versus when we're not. There are some times when, of course, we'll edit out, extra renditions of a given phrase or something like that. But
yeah.
for the most part, I'm trying to find that naturalistic feel of conversation going back and forth. So I'm trying to keep my editorial hand light, and I'm learning to do that more
Yeah.
now than I.
Our first episodes, guys, we were um, 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 we were umming a lot, and the edits Ben had to do to cut those out were extraordinary. But we have limited our ums to a dozen, no more.
I think it's kind of like swear words for the FCC.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of what I'm going with. We'll see. There's a lot we've learned, I think, over the course of this thing. I also think we've grown a little bit in terms of like how close to the notes we're trying to stay. We started with a lot of notes at first, and I think we've kind of ranged that in. I think these days we're a little bit looser about that kind of stuff.
Kind of abandoned the notes in some episodes altogether, which is fine if we really know a subject. For instance, we love our review episodes that we've been doing lately because we just love talking about games. So, like, if we've played a game, we don't need to write down a whole bunch of notes about our thoughts about a game because we can just share them to each other.
Yeah, I think what's interesting too is I think we're still kind of finding our way a little bit, because parts of what we do are really trying to help people, kind of the way a teacher will help you with the subject, right? And so I think a lot of our notes were written, at least for me, I was writing them a lot the way that I would write notes for a class when I was teaching.
Yeah, we want to be instructional, and it helps to have a little bit of a format, right?
Right. Other times, though, I think it's very much just a little bit of stream of consciousness. I don't think we've covered anything so definitively that it couldn't be revisited.
I would agree with you in some bit. I'd have to go back and listen to a few of them. I do know that we can tend to beat a dead horse here and there, but those horses keep getting reanimated and coming back to life.
Right,
No,
right. No,
no,
I mean, I'm sure there's more we could say about house rules. I'm sure there's more we could say about world building. I'm sure there's more we could say about all these different topics. My
yeah,
hope, though, is that what people are hearing on the other end of the podcast tubes is that this can be an approachable thing to do, that you don't have to stress about it too much, that there are, you know, really easy ways to kind of get started, and maybe people are getting some insights to help them take that leap into the GM seat.
yeah, fair point. What are some of your favorite topics, Ben? Do you have any that you really stick out that you enjoyed?
Yeah, I think it was really fun when we did the series on world building, because I think that was a neat structure and those things were connected to each other, and it was like
Yeah,
a kind of an ongoing conversation in a lot of ways.
that's a challenge one for me. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
You're a very kind of structured world builder. You really have a thoughtful approach, organizing your thoughts onto paper, and I'm kind of like the opposite. I have a scatterbrained approach where I'm, you know, got notes in my head. I got maybe a few things written down, the things I can almost never find. I need them. Um, but honestly, that was it was instructional for me. Like that was
Yeah.
in many ways.
Interesting. Dear listeners, make no mistake. Mark may jump around a lot, but he jumps around to the same things. And he'll end up kind of by a process of incremental addition, like adding things here and adding things there. And by the time he's done, there's an extraordinary experience waiting for you. So,
Yeah, I don't forget what I've built or what I've started.
right.
So like I can always come back and add a little bit more to it rather than create it all at once. I just it's like adding a brick and then another brick and then another brick. That's kind of how I do it. But it's behind the scenes, it's ugly.
Yeah. I also think, though, the other thing is that there's probably GMs out there that resemble each of us. And I think if it was only, a more structured approach like mine, or a more kind of,
Mhm.
ad hoc approach like yours, like I think people want to know that both of those approaches can be successful. So I'm glad that
100%.
all of that kind of stuff can work.
And if one thing I think we could really inspire in people is that everybody has a unique approach to a game. Everybody has a unique way to run a game, and hoping that maybe with our help, maybe you could find your voice to be able to run that. And because your voice is unique, everybody's voice is very unique. And gosh, we need more GMs. We just do.
Sure do. Well, okay. So, how about you, Mark? What are some of your favorite episodes? What are some of the ones that you thought we did a good job with the topic, or that you had especially a fun time recording?
I really like the interviews a lot. You know that.
Hmm.
I love getting that third voice in there to kind of give us some ideas to tune us up, so to speak. Um,
Yeah,
One that really stuck out, I really enjoyed, was Robichaud. Robichaud?
Robichaud.
Robichaud.
Yeah, Chris Robichaud.
I enjoyed talking with him. I mean, we were talking about horror movies. I'd never met him before, so it was fun meeting somebody who enjoyed movies like that. Obviously, I liked all of our interviews for various
Yeah.
different reasons, but I would
Well, and I
say
like that they were very different too.
yes.
What you
Well,
get
you're
out of a Ted Leckman was very different from what you get out of a Brandon
100%.
Holland or Randy Ward or anybody else.
100%. And they're all fantastic. We enjoyed them, each and every one of them. So
Yeah.
I would say the interviews were probably my favorite. What about you?
That's a good call. I mean, I think if I want to also pick out one that we haven't talked about on the interview side, really enjoyed the discussion with Len Pimentel. It gave me some thoughts and ideas about game design. And I think every GM is in some sense a little bit of a closet game designer,
Yes. I don't
but
even think closet really. I mean,
yeah,
we are.
the boundary between like house rules and game design, it's just one of like, how long have you been house ruling?
Yeah, exactly. By the way, let's plug his game real quick.
Oh yeah. Prowlers and Paragons, you guys.
Oh
This
yeah.
is the superhero game. I will go out on a limb. I've played a lot of superhero games, friends, and
Same.
I think that's the one to beat. I think it really does capture that nice sweet spot,
Gold standard.
of detail. There's really great sort of combat stuff in there, but where a lot of games can really get bogged down with the mechanics of how all the different superpowers interact, this one doesn't so much, and it gives you a little more freedom to move quickly. And my one big takeaway from the Len interview was when he said, his kind of criteria for how he thinks about game design rules and systems and things is, how does it make the players feel when they're doing it? Does it make it feel more like what you're trying to do with that genre, or less? And
Yeah.
so if you look at some of our RPG reviews, I think you could see that influence, right? When we're talking about Traveler's got a very kind of crunchy kind of quality to it, but I think it's exactly right for the kind of sci-fi fan that game is pitched at.
Yeah. And did we ever really do a full-on review of his game? I don't think we did. We
Well,
discussed it in our interview.
we did. I think that's probably in the cards. We should do that.
Okay. No, it's great. And we can expect that check from him when?
I don't know, but if he just gives us a little thumb up in comments somewhere, I think he gave us some comments. I think that's probably
Okay.
good
All
payment
right.
too.
All right.
So he gave us a plug.
So we
So Len, if you're
enjoyed,
listening, we had a great time with you.
yeah, it was fun. Also, of our other topics I enjoyed were some of our genre series, which we can a limited amount of them, right? There's only a certain amount of genres you can really cover, but those have been kind of fun because we have played between the two of us, have actually covered quite a few different genres.
Yeah. I mean, fantasy is kind of the default genre a lot of people think about. So I liked that we could cover other things like pulp and science fiction and westerns and some of the other topics that we've covered.
Mm-hmm. And when we started, I think, well, you dreamed that we'd be very system agnostic.
Well, I still think we are system agnostic, but
It's really hard to avoid the D&D elephant in the room, though.
it's true. Yeah.
Because that's what you and I play a lot.
Yeah.
I'd say, at least for me, 80% of my games are Dungeons and Dragons. And you know what?
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. Like, I am 100% okay with that. So
Yeah, I think it's okay to sort of start there, but I think if you never get outside of that, then it becomes a D&D podcast, and you kind of end up conforming the topics and things to that system. And I think that misses that there's a lot of great things in other systems that even if you do only play D&D, you could bring those kinds of things back into D&D as approaches or house rules, things you could play with to make it more rich. So I like that we are covering other stuff.
speaking of other stuff, Ben, what other games? I mean, we talked about wanting to try out Outgunned, I think it was called. Is that right?
Mhm.
Okay. That's one of the games on our list to play. Do you have any other games that you are kind of like in your mind that you're like, I really got to get to this?
Daggerheart is on my short list.
Okay, Dagger Heart is there. One of the
Yep.
ones for me that I've heard from multiple people that I'd like to play and maybe talk about is Delta Green. Have you heard of
Oh,
Delta?
wow. Yeah.
I've never played it. Have you?
I haven't played it, but I read some of the books and stuff. It's a really, that one gets Ennies pretty regularly. The guy who's the chief designer, and that's a guy named
Okay.
Ken Hite, really good dude at all this stuff. And it's kind of one of these things where you kind of go, look, what if you kind of mishmashed all of that Cthulhu mythos stuff
Mm-hmm.
with all of the government conspiracy stuff? And you realize the government's been trying to keep a lid on this thing for a long time. And
Wait. Is this game is set in reality or no? I'm just joking. No, I love
yeah,
this. A coworker of mine keeps bugging me to play this game, and
yeah,
I
you should
keep.
take them up on it.
Yeah, I think I will. I mean,
We'll have to do a thing.
yeah,
It's super popular. I mean, as the Call of Cthulhu stuff goes, like that's a popular system, and we probably should get into that and cover it sometime. But also the Delta Green book line, the series of books that is a, it's a kind of a take on that, is very, very good. So I'd say definitely check it out.
Daggerheart, Delta Green, Outgunned. I would say those are top 3 on our games to try in the future here, near future.
I will also throw out a plug for a game I played recently called Vaesen, and Vaesen is kind of like 18th, 19th century Swedish horror.
Mm-hmm.
It's by the fine folks over at Free League who have been producing, it seems like, every awesome non-D&D game that's out there.
Okay.
And it's really good. So give that a shot. Have a look at Vaesen when you get time. One of these days too, even though it's a very kind of, I think in some ways it can be a pretty challenging game to play in, I do want to get back into Middle Earth somehow.
There was a 5th edition version of Middle Earth. Somebody at some books, the beautiful books. I've seen them.
Yeah.
Never played them.
I've got the Adventures in Oh no, I think I got rid of those. I used to have the Adventures in Middle Earth
you
games.
You got some books?
Listen, it's I have to confess, I did. But the reason is because there's a more current edition. And what you want to look at, I think right now, we were talking about Free League, is the 2nd edition of The One Ring. And I think there's some great stuff in there. So yeah, one of these days it'd be great to get back into that. It's a pretty well-supported game line. They've got great art. And I think it's actually weirdly affordable.
Well,
so
there's also a thing of like, people say, why don't you go back and play like some of the old editions that make me even 2nd edition D&D or 1st edition or just older editions of games and things like that. I primarily play my games online, as you play a little bit in person, but mostly online. Those games are really hard to play on, online. There's not, the materials aren't made for them. There's lots of, they got these built-in, systems that we use like Foundry. They're cumbersome to try to play something like that. So I try to stick to games that have some good backing to it, that I can play them online.
Support within your existing VTT. Yeah.
That goes into a lot of my thinking as far as games I want to try. And I know that Delta Green's got some good support. Daggerheart, of course, is going to have lots of support. A lot of people are playing that right now. So,
yeah.
So for folks who are wondering why we're not playing some of these other obscure games, it really just comes down to like, how easy is it to play online?
Yeah. And I think this is something we don't talk about a lot, but one of the nice things about playing online is you can connect with people that you haven't seen for a long time. And Mark and I used to live in the same city and we had a great time playing games and things, but we don't now. So this is basically the way that we have to play with each other. But also you may have found that like you have a hard time finding people who want to try to play a Delta Green or some other thing in your local neighborhood. But gosh, when you connect online, there's a great big community out there and you can find players.
There is. And I think, I don't know what the percentage is of people who play online versus in person. I'm almost guessing that more people are playing online these days, but I don't know any sort of statistics to back that up. Maybe we should have an episode where we talk about kind of like the differences between them, how you can enhance one. There's definitely ways you can do that in person. We've talked a lot about that, but online is kind of a different beast, and the things you kind of want to accentuate might be very different than interesting topic altogether. But
Yeah, we've talked a little bit about it, but I think it's worth revisiting, certainly. Mark, I think you do an especially good job. We were talking about our different kind of prep styles before. You're you're always looking at new mods and new enhancements that make the online experience great. And it's interesting. I feel like if I was going to play a regular sit down game with you at some point, it would feel sort of weirdly vanilla because all the bells and whistles would be gone.
yeah, I
So
probably would. I was just thinking about that, like the kind of attention I give to a map that I've found, like a really cool map that's been designed by like somebody like the Mad Cartographer, or all these great um, asset makers that are out there. I might have more attention to the story drawn into that map than when I sit at the table with a pen and I'm drawing it right away in person at the game, because I hadn't even thought about the map until I'm sitting there drawing it sometimes. So I don't know. There's interesting stuff to talk about there. I got a question for you.
okay.
Nobody is asking this, just me. Online play, like this is where you got you're recording your game sessions.
Okay.
You see these all the time on the YouTubes, in the Tic Tacs. The Utes are doing it.
Tic Tacs. Okay.
Is that ever something you would be interested in doing?
I think I could be interested in doing that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the
What
kids
do you
want to
think?
see it
Is
on the
that
Tic Tacs.
I definitely think it's one of these things where you need to find the right group of players. You need to find great chemistry. I think that has to come through. It's interesting though. I don't think we've ever really talked about what the success factors for a streamed game would be, but I do think you need to do something more interesting than just like, hey, we're some randos playing a game and we decided to put it up online.
That's every single video that's out there of people playing D&D in
Right.
my eyes.
Which is why I think you need to do something to kind of differentiate yourself a little bit.
Okay.
And the old version of this advice was you got to have a gimmick,
Yeah.
I certainly think that it didn't hurt the Critical Role people that they were all voice actors and they knew how to follow the dramatic beats and construct characters carefully and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
There's other people that do that differently that will try out stuff. Maybe it could be really fun for us to do a live stream of little played games. I think if we had a D&D live stream, we'd probably get less hits than if we figured out a way to live stream Broken Compass or Outgunned or if it was a game of the week kind of thing. I found the Glass Cannon podcast was really cool because they were streaming games that I hadn't really seen streamed before. So, maybe we could do things like that.
Or maybe we don't.
Maybe not also.
I was just curious.
Yeah.
We had talked about it a long time ago, and I think I had kind of an aversion to it. But I'll say this: I am absolutely the worst person on this topic. There's a couple things I've been wrong on in life. One was that I first saw. First of all, my brother-in-law was playing a game, and he was streaming his game long before Critical Role was, and it was horrible. Like they were all playing games,
Right.
and I was like, dude, this is nobody will ever watch these. Like I told him this. I'm like, nobody's ever going to want to watch somebody play D&D. Like it's just not going to be. And a year later, Critical Role was coming out and everybody was watching. I'm like, oh, that was.
Gotta eat your words that day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other one I said that I had a friend of mine years ago. He was a game designer, video game designer, and he showed me. He's like, I got to show you this game. It's really cool. It's in beta. This developer is making it right now, and he was enlisted to do this like demo of it or whatever, and it was Minecraft.
Oh,
And I said this is the stupidest game I've ever seen. Nobody will ever play this game.
well.
Anything
You'd like to say by way of an apology to the fine folks at Mojang and Microsoft?
I just wish I had stock in it. That's all.
Yeah. Amazon stock, it'll never go anywhere.
That's me, Mark Lehman. I got the beat. I got the beat on what everybody's playing right now.
Yeah, he's got his finger on the pulse of the kids in the future. Yeah.
That's right.
Look, I think we've all got stories like that. You live a certain amount of time, you see some big missed opportunities. I've got my own share of those stories.
On that note, I think, are we wrapped up here, Ben?
This is a good moment to thank our audience for being with us thus far. and to reinvite them to email us at tabletoptuneup@gmail.com with your ideas for things you'd like to see us review, things you'd like to see us tune up, anything to do with the GM's craft. All right, it's time. Hey guys, we'll be back again with another episode of Tabletop Tune Up. Until then, keep those dice rolling.